So now that I've been able to figure out how to make the Oompah band players work, I'm going to get the movement in tip-top shape. Thanks to 2 astute viewers. I have 2 things to work on. One is this pendulum leader wire bouncing all over at the top. And either I've got grooves in my V-wire. I already changed the U-wire, but the V-wire may have flat spots on the inside of it, or the 2 little loops aren't hitting the U-wire at the same time, and that's what I thought at first, because it wants to hang this way. It wants to hang toward the front, not in the middle of the U. And so if it's hitting in this corner of the U and that arch of the U, these 2, the top of the V-wire little loops are not hitting at the same time. It's kind of bouncing around because one is contacting the surface more than the other one. But also, I think this leader wire is bent a little bit. I'm going to check that out when I take it off of there, because it's really a weird bouncy thing. And then another astute viewer suggested that maybe this cracked wheel for turning the hands was because of the worn pivot holes, and they are pretty worn. And I wasn't going to do much with the movement if I couldn't get the Oompah band guys moving again. But both sides of the plate move a lot on this one and this one, on my second wheel, on the time side and the strike side. So I'm going to put bushings here, here, and here, and fix this problem. I bumped the camera. So the first thing I did was take the leader wire off. I drew a straight line on a piece of paper with a ruler. And I'm going to check this on all 4 angles of this. So straight up the side, the top veers off a little bit. About right here it starts tilting that way. I'm going to turn it this other way. If I can pick it up. And it also veers off to the right. Here you can see it pretty sharply bending left. And then I'm going to flip it over this side. And this side, from the back side, it's pretty straight. Which I guess is, I'm saying the back side because it's the back of the little loop right here. But when it's hanging up, it would actually be the right side. So the right side is pretty straight. But from the left side, it really takes off and hooks over that away at the top. It has 2 bends in it. It bends right here off to that way, and it bends backwards. So I've got to straighten it 2 directions. That's why it was bouncing so much probably. But I'm still going to look at this little V-wire under the microscope. So you can try to hammer this if you've got a flat surface. I'm going to try this little holder. It's a staking block that's got a little groove in it. And the one that I can obviously see with my eye, I'm going to work on tapping out. I don't know if I like that. It's putting little grooves in it. I may just try the staking block and hammering it. I had the little the little peen from my staking set, because if you peen the side that's high, it should pull it the other way. Actually, I may be peening the wrong side. If you want something to stretch, you peen it on that side. But we're going to try the old-fashioned way of just hammering the high side. So I'm stretching the metal because I can see the difference. When I give it a couple of taps, it overcorrects and bends the other way. Let's see how that did. I've got the one big bend out. Now I've got to get the other one out. And I need to mark it. Where it starts deviating. This Sharpie does not work very good. It's one of the ones you just click and then it dries out. It's not a very good one. Don't get that kind. Alright, so I want to correct it right about in here. That's where it starts bending. That may be the problem for both angles, that it's off. So it needs to go that way, down, and to the right. Okay. Just checking it on my straight line every so often, bring it back, tap it a little bit more. A little bit more on that upper mark and I think we'll be about right. So I started out getting the left and flipping it over. The right bends out of it, and then when I got that straight, I did the front and back because it was bent in two different planes. So I've got it a whole lot straighter than it was. I'm going to put it back on here and see how the bounce is. Alright, let's see if we did any good. Still bouncing at the top. Most of my bends were right where it goes through the foot, so somebody had adjusted the clock. Because I've got my Sharpie marks on there. Someone had adjusted the clock by bending this a little bit, I think. But yeah, that's still way too much bounce. It's not swinging on the U, it's swinging at the bottom of the V. This whole thing should be going back and forth, and instead these are staying in the same spot and it's swinging back and forth right here. So we got to inspect this V wire. This is the post off of the movement, and my little U wire looks great, and here's the V wire on the insides. I want to see in there where it rubs. There's a spot on that one. And there's a pretty good size spot on that one. So remember, these were really super rusty when I got it. It didn't want to move at all. And yeah, so these need to be replaced. Bushing for the front back side of the plate is in. Spins good. This is what the other side looks like. Still got a bunch of wobble, so the back side will be next. No more wobble. Good spin. So I got one more bushing to put in right here. There's both my second wheels. That one spins a lot more freely than this one does. This one is a taller bushing, you can see, because I don't have, when I put it in this plate to measure, you can measure the calipers, or if you're lucky enough to have one of these, you stick the pivot in these holes, and it fit in this hole. I have the 1 millimeter plate, and they don't make the 1 millimeter bushings. You have to go up to a 1.4 plate to get the one that I need, so it's slightly longer, but it's still spinning freely, so it's going to be fine. That's the oil sink on that side. Alright, I put the movement back in after I ran through all the function tests and adjusted everything the way I wanted, and put this in here where I test dry it, installed it without any chains, just kind of set it in there to figure out where I wanted this bar coming. I don't want it resting on this because you see how easy it is to trip it away from there. And this little arm that's going to stop the fan is definitely going to have to be adjusted. And when I got it all put in there and put weights on it, this arm was like stuck up in the air. So I had to get my screwdriver and put it up through the slot and loosen it and kind of adjust it down. So I only have 2 weights. I've got some more coming. And so one of the reasons I did those bushings was most of my clocks take 275 to 325 weights. This one takes 475. This one that's on the music box is actually 480 when I weighed it. So for almost 500 grams, yeah, you're going to get some wear on your pivot holes. So I don't expect much. It might work, it might not. Let's see what happens. Well, I'm turning the hand backward. I do that every time. So that's the half hour. And my people are moving. And it triggered it. So it's at a good height. I just got to adjust this fan so that the music, this little wire that stops the fan, so that the music doesn't start playing before it's done cuckooing. So let me do that. Just use my hand to kind of hold it there and bend the end of it down. So let's see what it does. Ooh, my hand is gone. Hang on, let me find it. Okay. Went into warning and started doing its thing before the cuckoo got tripped. Because here's the rest of it. So this is adjusted a little bit too low. It shouldn't be activating it when it goes into warning, I don't think. Yeah, it should. It should activate this arm by this black lever when it goes into warning, but it shouldn't play because this fan should be stopping it. So my fan's still not adjusted right. And it's touching that arm. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this thing. And that's stopped it. But it's sitting right on the activating arm of the governor. So it did still shut off. That's good. Let's try another little test. Alright, the arm is out of the hole. That's being pushed down. That's being stopped. So everything looks good. And it's holding it while it cuckoos, and it slipped up off of it. So I think I'm about done adjusting it. I'll show you the front of the clock in a minute with it all working right. I'll probably have to adjust the gong some. There's no hole. It makes it a little harder to adjust the gong. I went ahead and put the bellows in. I had to recover one of those and clamped it overnight. Working good. I'm happy with it. Luckily the gong didn't need to be adjusted. It was gonging nicely. I've got to adjust this little wire down here. It's hanging up. It's pushing them too far to the left and hanging up every once in a while. Just that one spot on that one song. So I've got to adjust that little wire. Here's my hour. So when I get my other weight in, I'll have a functioning clock again. Yay! I like this style. Hope y'all have enjoyed part 2. Wasn't as exciting. Definitely didn't take as long as part 1 trying to design something that wasn't there. And hope it gave you guys some ideas. Save one more from the trash heap. Thanks for watching.